mga kaibigan! Welcome again to In My Toolbox, your weekly talk show, of course, about your personal finance. Of course, dito lang yan sa PHLV Radio. The goal in this show is to give you financial information that you will be able to use on your day-to-day financial decisions. And of course, we will unbox topics that will hopefully aid you, guide you, and maybe even add to your financial tools. We will tackle important information mostly not taught in school, but it's so much needed to empower you financially. As usual, mga kaibigan, in any idea that will transpire in this show, always consult with your financial advisors, insurance professionals, or tax consultants. My name again, guys, is Enrico Pobre, your host. I'm a sales marketing trainer, an economist, an entrepreneur, and a financial professional. So if you have any questions, by the way, guys, ask them away on the chat box below. Or if you will be listening in the show on a later time, please feel free to connect with me through Facebook page In My Toolbox, or connect with me via Instagram or LinkedIn, or simply Google my name, Enrico Pobre. You can definitely find me there, or you can email me at enrico.inmytoolbox@gmail.com. Ayan naman, mga kaibigan. Of course, this is another episode of In My Toolbox. Teka lang. Siyempre, babatiin natin yung mga avid natin, mga tagapanood. Did I say it right? Or listeners of In My Toolbox here at PHLV. Very good, ha? Siyempre, kailangan may title yon. Mga naggagandahang mga televiewers. Parang television yung dating ko. Anyway, guys, mga kaibigan, we're gonna be talking about, of course, all products this last episodes that we were doing here in My Toolbox. And then we're gonna talk about another product today, of course. Alam niyo na po ito. We already did talk about this one in the previous episodes. Siyempre, we will just add on something there that probably it will be able to add more to your knowledge now, or probably something that you have not heard before. Now it will actually be, I heard that, I did hear it the last time that you presented it. Parang ganon. So, but before that, we're gonna talk about the three financial planning stages of wealth. Syempre, we all go through different stages in life. Whether it's kulayan natin ang buhok natin ng red or pink or green. Or, for example, you move to another city. All of these are what you call changes in life or different phases of life. Gaya ko, or most of us here right now, we came from the Philippines and then we went here in the United States. That's another phase of life. And, of course, each of this stage, of course, it actually ends on the previous, now starting a new one, because a new thing opened up for you and me, right? So it's actually the accumulation of these stages that turns us into the people of who we are today. Parang ako, ladies and gentlemen, of course, I came from the Philippines and I live in Europe, and then I came here in the United States. So these are different stages of my life, right? So while, of course, there's a degree of a poetic beauty in this line of thinking, of course, ganun din sa financial planning natin. There's going to be different stages of our financial or wealth building process. There are actually, in financial wealth building, there's actually three distinct stages of our financial life. Kanina, it's our life, where we are, where we're going. So that's who made us today. And this one naman is going to be our financial life. So there's such a thing that we call a financial life. So there are actually three stages of this financial life that we have. Of course, wealth accumulation, wealth preservation, wealth distribution. Parang ganun din ang ating buhay. Just like our life, we actually, we went from one place to the other. So that's the whole idea of this three phases of life, di ba? So ngayon, what we're going to be talking about is these three financial phases of life. Yun naman po yung ibig nating sabihin doon. So, kanina ang sinabi ko sa inyo, it's the what you call the accumulation phase, the preservation phase, and of course, the distribution phase. Siyempre, based on decisions made by you and me, each of these financial stage has what you call planning in each of them, right? So you'll be able to determine what you call your economic fate. O, di ba? Meron tayong mga bagong terminology ngayon. Economic fate, kanina financial life. Sige. So medyo mabigat yung dating niya, but that's actually very essential that you know what you're doing. We have to know how we are going to approach every financial steps that we're going to be to make, right? So let's just talk about the first one first. We call it the wealth accumulation. So in this stage of wealth accumulation, it's just like a sport, that you're in. So sa sport kasi, you should be athletic, di ba? So if you are engaged in sport right now, you should be in your athletic prime. Ganon din dito sa ating wealth accumulation. This is where you embrace your daily grind and put every work that you're going to do for you to be able to build a foundation for your eventual legacy. And then of course dito, it's outside of the sport. It can be of course in finance. That's what you're calling it, the accumulation phase. You have to be what? You have to be healthy, you have to be active, you have to be in the peak of your time. When you're doing this in your finances during the accumulation part, you're looking at your career, you're looking at your position, you're looking at how much you're earning at the time. So this is the stage that you are talking about, all about savings. So this is exactly the time that you're going to be putting all your effort to make and build and accumulate your wealth. So, syempre, this is the time as well that you're making the most money that you can actually ever earn. Because we call it your prime. And of course, this is also the time because you're making money. Don't blow all away your money, di ba? So you have to make sure that you save it, you keep it in a wealth building platform, and then and in fact, this is also the time that you have to hurry doing that because this is the prime of your time, And sometimes kasi people don't even think that it's the prime of their time already and they just take some time, So, of course, speaking about time, there's timing as well during the accumulation phase. And then, and of course, timing is the earlier that you start, the better off you'll be. So, if you start saving money from a young age, kahit na small amount only, or in a modest level, that's very good because that's going to be money still that will accumulate over the years. And before you know it, you actually have built over time wealth already. So every amount that you put into those platform that you will be, putting your saving to or at, you're actually in a better position. You're positioning yourself to the next stage. Guys, all of these financial stages, this is actually, it actually is being tied up together. One cannot exist without the other. So the accumulation phase, once you accumulate it, the second part of the phases of money is the wealth preservation. So now that you put all the groundwork during the accumulation phase, now it's time to lock things down. Ibig sabihin, you will allow now to what? To preserve the amount of wealth that you've incurred over time. So you start thinking about, of course, at this time, you're thinking about retirement planning and, after all of these years of accumulation of what you did all your life. So this is your preservation time. So, of course, at this time also, you will also reevaluate all the investment that you did or that you made and what you want out of them, of course, into ready being, making yourself ready for retirement. Okay? So this is dependent, of course, on what retirement planning goals that you have. Siyempre, if you don't have anything, you might just splurge all of those money that you have accumulated over time. But you have to have a good financial goals as well. And it is actually also, this is also the time that you should look into some business succession planning or wealth transition, or who's going to be, who's going to be receiving your wealth in the future. Tax planning strategies is part of it, and even annuities, which is also what I'm going to be talking about today more. is part of this preservation stage, So at your retirement portfolio, what do you guys have? And what part of that retirement portfolio that you have to consider to what do you call this? What areas of that platform that you would consider to be building, to be preserving your wealth when the time comes, So this is actually what you call the preservation stage. And the other one, of course, is wealth distribution. So wealth distribution, when retirement is already in your doorstep, this is where all your money that you've saved all the time, all those years, right? And all the investment that you made all of those years, now is going to be what? Payoff time, right? So since you have no longer regular paychecks coming in, especially if you're an employee that you can rely on, this is where the accumulation and preservation stages becomes your saving grace. So this is, of course, ito na yung ating pinag-uusapan na distribution stage. This is now more conscious than calculated like other stages. Kasi this is now what you have for your retirement. So that's what you call the three phases of life, of a financial life na pinag-uusapan natin. Now guys, the reason why I'm talking about the three phases of your financial life, because the topic that we're going to talk about today is called fixed index annuity. I think you will be reminded of how we did it the last time. Okay, so fixed index annuity, guys, is actually a very good platform or product that you would like to consider. Okay, so let's just dive down into it. Okay, annuity is a retirement product that may provide protection and, of course, reliable income when you need it. So it can help bridge the gap between the savings that you've accumulated over time and, of course, the traditional sources of retirement income like Social Security. So can you imagine if you have this type of annuity, it can actually bridge the gap, yung pagkukulang ng iyong retirement. And of course, if you don't need the income immediately when you have this annuity, you can let it potentially grow tax deferred. Of course, guys, tax deferral is a very good strategy because instead of paying the taxes, you can actually use that money to grow for you. And use just what you're just delaying the payment of the taxes, which is actually legal using this type of a platform. So that's why annuity is actually a good add-on or powerful addition to your financial planning. So you might want to learn more about annuities, guys, when the time comes. Okay, so if you have a pen and paper right now, you just write it. What's annuity? And talk to your financial professional about this one. So benefits of these annuities, guys, is number one, of course, potential for growth and protection. Ibig sabihin, your money is growing and is actually protected. We like that. That's something that we're looking for, right? So if you're that person that's looking for potential of growth and protection in your principal, this is definitely the product for you. So especially nowadays, guys, with fewer employer-sponsored retirement plans available out there, you are probably looking for strategies to help you grow and protect your hard-earned money or hard-earned assets that you would be able to fund the retirement that you want in the future. Okay, so annuities may be the key for you that can provide that opportunity for growth and protection for income that can last your lifetime. I'll explain that later on, what lifetime is all about, right? So the second thing is growth potential. So when you use annuity, there's growth potential there because the market can be a powerful tool for growing your assets. But some annuities offer protection against markets ups and downs. Kaya nga, di ba, up, down, up. What's next? Of course, it's gonna go down. So you would want to have a product that can help you on the down market side as well. So helping to make an investing less intimidating, this is an annuity. So they can even offer market access that provides opportunities for growth through a variety of investment options. So may mga investment options siya when you put your money into an annuity. And what's so good about that, you can change this investment options every year or every anniversary date. Growth potential from tax deferral. We were talking about this one a while ago. So you want to keep more of what you earn to invest into your future retirement. Kasi nga, you're using the money. Instead of paying the taxes, you're still using that supposed to be tax money to grow for you. So that's the whole idea, right? So, and that's one of the great advantages of annuity. So you can defer your taxes on interest and investing earning until you take income from them when the time comes. So those are the benefits of annuities. And of course, yung what we call the critical success factors of an annuity, no loss principle. Ibig sabihin, may principal protection siya. When you put your money there, that money is already protected. You are never gonna lose money. Of course, you put that's the beauty of this fixed index annuity that I'm talking about. Now, if I be asking you guys, who wants to lose money here? You're going to say, no, not me. Exactly. So this is something that you would want to explore on. Okay, so there's a no loss principal protection. When you put your money there, that's actually there already. And there's no fee. Well, there's no fund manager's fee, and there's you want to make sure that you understand this one when you look at this. Is one of the questions that you would want to ask your financial advisors. Why did Enrico say that there's no fee on this one? Of course, there's some little fees there. For example, if you choose a lifetime income rider or some strategies that actually ask for fees, but nonetheless, aside from that, there's actually no fee in actually taking care of your funds inside a fixed index annuity. High interest yield. I'm going to talk more about that high interest yield later on. And of course, the critical success factor here is there is an offering during the distribution time of a lifetime income benefit, an income that you can never outlive. Yes, you heard me right. You can choose to have an income that you will never outlive. Wow, that sounds too good to be true. Exactly. It's good and it's true. So ask about that lifetime income benefit rider. So there's also what you call a RMD friendly or required minimum distribution friendly. I'll explain that later on towards the end of this discussion. And of course, there's death benefit as well. Oh, Enrico, this seems like a life insurance. Well, fixed index annuity is not a life insurance policy, but the owner of a fixed index annuity is a life insurance company. What does it mean? Who owns a city? Banks, right? So who owns what? Mutual funds, a brokerage company, or investment company. Who owns a fixed index annuity? A life insurance company. Kanya-kanya lang po silang mga produkto. Okay? So now guys, how does an annuity work? It's very simple. There's 3 stages of the annuity. Of course, the first one is the funding part, where the funds is going to come from. The second part is actually how long are you going to keep it? You call it the term. And the third part of the annuity is how are you going to get the distribution or withdrawal of your money? So those are the parts of an annuity. So of course, in the funding, where's the funds going to come from? It can be from a qualified fund or a non-qualified fund. Yeah, well, the only difference is one, the principal was already taxed. So whatever is the growth, that's the only thing that's going to be taxed. But sometimes the money that you put in is a qualified fund, meaning the whole principal has not been taxed yet. So when the time the distribution comes out or comes, the whole amount of whatever how much money is there is going to be taxed. So that's what it means by non-qualified and qualified fund. Of course, the age is going to be there, and how much you're going to be putting in, how much money you're going to be putting into your bucket. And you keep it for so many years. It can be 5, 7, 8, 10, 15 years, depends on the company. You can keep, you can keep it for a longer time. Or after that number of years, the third part is distribution. There's 2 parts of distribution here. One, you can get all the money if you want to. Or you can just get certain amount of money up until you deplete everything that's in your bucket. Or you want to divide all of this money in X number of years. The second one is what you call a lifetime income benefit rider, where you can choose to give up all your money to the company in exchange of a lifetime income, money that you can never outlive. See, that's how an annuity works. Let's just give you an example here, guys, okay? So an example is, let's just say there's a guy who's actually going to put money into an annuity, a qualified fund that came from a 401k. So the terminology is he's going to roll over 401k into a fixed index annuity, okay? So let's just say the guy is 62 years old and he's going to be putting $100,000 into the policy or into the contract. Now he's going to put that $100,000 into the contract, and that, of course, that $100,000 will grow on a fixed rate or an index rate. Okay? So we're going to explain that a little bit later on. And let's just say the person or the client or you want to keep it for, let's just say, 10 years. And that $100,000, you kept it for 10 years inside that bucket, and it grew to, let's just say, $160,000. So 10 years is up. The third part now is the distribution. How much am I going to get? Or how can I get my money out? That's what I mean. Okay? Number one, remember, lump sum. You can take everything out if you want to. Or you can actually divide that $160,000 in 10 years. So you get $16,000 in the next 10 years. Oh, that's okay too. You're deferring tax that way. Or you can just get certain amount, like $20,000 every year until you deplete everything in your bucket. That's one way of getting out of the distribution of your money. Or secondly, you can actually get the lifetime income. So we talked about lifetime income a while ago. So this is how a lifetime income works, okay? So in your annuity, there's what you call a bucket A. Bucket A is where you actually put your real money of $100,000. Think about this one, okay? And remember, I told you that $100,000 grew to $160,000? That's your bucket A. Now, when you open your bucket A, you actually, in fact, have an imaginary bucket. We call it bucket B. Kunwari lang na bucket. Okay? So this bucket B, when you put your $100,000 in bucket A, you imagine that you also put $100,000 in your imaginary bucket, which is bucket B. So your $100,000 is also there. But this bucket B is going to grow differently. Each company has a different way of how to grow this bucket B. Let's just say a company gives you a 6.5% interest rate, fixed rate, compounding. So that $100,000 will become $190,000 in bucket B. So now you would see bucket B is $190 and bucket A is $160. So this is how lifetime income works. You, as a client or who owns it, will surrender the $160,000 to the company. You don't have $160,000 anymore. Okay? In exchange to a certain percentage of that $190,000 in your bucket B. So let's just say the company, of course, nobody's going to offer 10%, but just for easy math, just for this discussion, let's just say the company offers you 10% of that $190,000. That's $19,000, right? So the company is going to give you $19,000 every year forever for the rest of your life. That's what you call lifetime income. So again, you gave up your $160,000 to the company. You don't have $160,000 anymore in exchange of a $19,000 every year until the rest of your life. That's how lifetime income works. So now, the question here, guys, is what if the person dies 5 years only? So he got 5 of $19,000. So that's about $95,000 only. But his real money is $160,000. What's going to happen? Okay. The difference between the $160,000 and the $95,000 is $65,000, right? When the client dies, that $65,000 will actually be given to the beneficiary. So still, the person is going to get the full $160,000 if there's a premature, when he dies prematurely. That's what it means. Okay, but if the client lives for 20 years of $19,000 is $380,000. So it means that what? He got more than what he actually gave up, which is the $160,000. So that's what it means by lifetime income. Galing, So that's the reason why, people opt to have this fixed index annuity because they can opt to have an income that they can never outlive. That's the other benefit of this fixed index annuity. I hope you guys got that information very tight, but don't worry. You can always connect with me. I can show you some videos of how this actually works, really, and you can review it. Or with this show, you can just keep on repeating, this show and just try to understand how the fixed index annuity works. Okay, so we were talking about that lifetime income benefit rider a while ago. So there's actually a word that I would want to teach to you. You call it annuitization or to annuitize. It just means that you surrender your money or investment plus the income to the company in exchange to a periodic income for the life of the client. So remember a while ago, we gave up the $160,000 in exchange of a lifetime $19,000 every year. So in just layman's term, you're just surrendering your right for a lump sum money. That's just what it means. And of course, if the client dies before consuming the annuitized amount, remember, the difference will go to the beneficiary. Remember the $65,000? And they call it a death benefit. Okay, so that's what lifetime income benefit rider is all about. So if the client does consuming the annuitized amount, lifetime income benefit rider stops. Kasi, di ba, 380,000 na yun, sabi ko sa inyo kanina. So he lived for 20 years. So there's no more death benefit after that. Okay? So the next one is high interest yield. Now, guys, there's going to be you will see here two words in fixed index annuity, the fixed and an index. So it means that the money is going to grow on a fixed rate or an index rate or both. Okay? So when you say index funds, of course, index funds, these indices, you're so familiar with this one. You've heard this S&P 500 before, the Dow Jones, These are samples of indices, right? So whatever you choose, there's going to be some index crediting there. There's what you call a monthly cap average or a point-to-point index strategies. So there's a lot of different ways on how to apply for your strategy of how much goes to where. This is your what you call asset allocations. Okay, of course, if you choose a fixed rate, it's also okay. So for me, guys, if you ask me, if I'm looking at the interest of that's available for your money to grow inside a fixed index annuity, I just don't choose one. At least I choose two. You call it laddering, or I choose four. That depends on what strategy that you can actually choose to where to put your money. So you can, what good news here, you can change this every year. For the life of the policy, every year you can actually change it. Okay, so there are now some annuities that's giving 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sometimes I could see 14%, 15% return in annuities. So sit down with a person who knows about annuities, or like your financial professional. Sit down with them and ask, where can I get the biggest yield on my annuity? Okay, so the other one too is the RMD friendly. We were talking about RMD. RMD means required minimum distribution. So if the client is 72 years old at the time the contract or before the contract ends, they have to take money. RMD kasi, mga kaibigan, is a way that the government telling you to get money out of your retirement plan already. So in fact, they really are forcing you to get money out. Say, for example, you have $100,000, you're 72 years old, and you have a retirement plan there. They tell you, hey, can you take 4% out of that and you pay, and get that distribution so I can get a portion of that as payment to the taxes. That's what it means by RMD, required minimum distribution. They require you to get a distribution on a minimum level. Okay, so you're forced to take money out even though you don't need it. So now, because you're taking it out, right? Now, Uncle Sam is going to be paid in taxes. So this happens when you have a retirement plan at the age of 72. Now, in a fixed index annuity, if you're within the 10-year period, for example, and then you take your money out, more than the 10% penalty-free withdrawal, man, they're going to be what? Charging you a penalty. That's why they call it as an R&D friendly, because when you take your money out at 72 years old and you're still inside the contract, they will not be penalizing you. This is what it means. Because at this stage, we can't do anything because Uncle Sam forces us to take money out, by the age of 72. So that's what you call the required minimum distribution. Because this product is an RMD friendly, you will not face penalty for early withdrawal. Okay? So guys, that's what you call a fixed index annuity. I'm not going to talk about the correlation between fixed index annuity and index universal life right now, because I'm going to tackling index universal life next week on our next episode, because you can tie up these two things, the fixed index annuity, index universal life together, right? Just to give you a glimpse of what an index universal life is. It's a life insurance policy that has a flexible premium. So why do I want to talk to you guys about this one? Because when the RMD comes, during the time, you can take that money out from the annuity, and you don't have a place where to put it. You can actually put it into index universal life, because the nature of this product, it has a flexibility onto the premium payment. So I'm gonna talk about Index Universal Life next week, guys. So stay tuned. Next week I'm gonna talk about that IUL. Okay, but nonetheless, guys, I hope you learned something today with regard to the fixed index annuity, which is a very, very powerful tool to add on into the preservation of your hard-earned money. So mga kaibigan, I know it's a short topic for this week, but that's just it for me because I will be continuing this episode with Index Universal Life next week, and we will all be tying it together. So again, my name is Enrico. You're listening to In My Toolbox. Up until the next episode. Woohoo!